Yo, what is going on everybody? Shri Kanase here. So is Google Ads dying? This is one important question a lot of people nowadays seem to have regarding Google ever since those Google Merchant Center account bans really started. And that was basically the only thing that started people thinking if Google was even worth it and if you could even dropship anymore with Google Ads. I've made a lot of videos showcasing exactly why it's still completely fine to dropship via Google Ads and how to keep your Merchant Center account alive and thriving during these difficult times. However, recently there have been some new issues a lot of dropshippers have been facing with Google Ads, and these issues have directly to do with lower amount of sales, lower return on ad spend, which leads a lot of people to think again if Google Ads is actually dying. And personally, I've also noticed this, and that's why I'm making a video to go over kind of my thoughts on what is going on basically, and why if you're already using Google, you may be facing some lower amounts of conversions, return on ad spend. You might even be barely profitable and just getting by compared to how you were doing before. So let's just get right into it. The first thing you'll have to do in order to find any type of success with this video, however, is to destroy the like button until it turns blue. I promise not gonna take more than 2 quick seconds. Okay, hopefully you have destroyed the like button down below. But in order to kind of discuss this, let's start looking at my own Google Ads account for my main general dropshipping store to see exactly what is going on with the data. So right here, I'm looking at the chart for the last 30 days, and we're looking at the daily time period for the last 30 days. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of the overall conversion value over cost, meaning return on ad spend. So as you guys can see, it has been fluctuating up and down tremendously. But if we now start looking a little bit back, maybe let's look at the last 90 days up to today, we can see exactly why people may be thinking that Google Ads is starting to die out. And again, as I said, I've also faced some issues similar to this with my own ads account. Starting around late April, early May is when things kind of started to become shaky. As you guys see, my ROAS was still absolutely amazing. I was getting 7.21 return on ad spend. And if we change this to weekly, we can see that overall within those few weeks, it was still above 4.0, which is again absolutely amazing, and I couldn't ask for better results. However, if we look at the entire chart starting from the last 90 days up until today weekly, we can also see the overall trend and exactly what is going on with the ROAS. For me personally, and this ad account, as the cost started to increase, the conversion value over cost actually started to decrease. So it was in the peak time around 6.09 within that week. So I made about $24,000 in the week of May 3rd and onwards, and it slowly started to go down. As you guys can see, it was still a little bit stagnant during this time period, but since about end of May, early June basically is when it really started to go down. And right now when I'm recording this video, it's beginning of July 7th, and things are still starting to go down. And this is just not me. A lot of other individuals have been starting to face similar issues when it comes to Google Ads. And as you guys can see, I'm still doing pretty well. The lowest ROAS was about 3.27, which is considered high for a lot of people using Facebook ads. So overall, it was not bad, but from the beginning, if we look at early May, we can see that there has been about half of a decrease in the return on ad spend, which is absolutely concerning for a lot of individuals. Now, because I've been doing dropshipping and I've been using Google Ads for quite some time now, I know how the overall chart works. I know which months are good, which months are bad, and so forth. This is not too big of a deal for me. However, for the rest of you guys who may just be starting out with Google Ads, or you may have been using Google Ads for a while but just don't know how to deal with this, here is exactly what is going on right now. We all know that last year was a very interesting year with so many different changes. A lot of the things that were working in the previous years basically stopped working overnight within the last year, and new things started to work within the last year. So because of that, last year was interesting. We can't really take that into account. However, during the middle portion of this year, so basically starting June, is when things started to get back to normal as they usually were. This means that more and more people, especially here in the United States, if you are targeting your shopping campaigns to the US only, started to go out more. The restrictions were loosened up, so more people started shopping outside instead of just sitting on their computers at home shopping. This is one of the main reasons why you can see a little bit of a dip starting beginning of June, and especially after the middle of June is when things start to go down once again. So this is what I like to call the normalcy curve. This means things are now going back to normal, but before it really starts to settle down and go back to normal, there's going to be a huge dip upwards or a huge dip downwards, because people were not used to the normal within the past year. Everything was crazy. Everybody was going crazy. So with this new freedom, you could say, people are starting to get a little bit overly excited. They're starting to spend more time than usual outdoors. They're trying to stay away from the computers, laptops, and prevent basically shopping online, because that's all they did last year. So because they want to kind of get back to normal now, they're just enjoying their new days of freedom until they get bored of it. And that is exactly what is happening here. And that is exactly why so many people are seeing a big dip downwards in the overall ad spend for their ads and the overall ROAS for their campaigns. So that is one of the main reasons. However, now let's take a little bit of a bigger look and look at all time. And we're going to adjust this chart to now look at monthly. So as you guys can see, within the past year, as I already mentioned, it was a very interesting year. We can't really take that too much into account. However, looking at last year, it did follow somewhat of a similar curve to what was going on during this time period as well. And by the way, in case you're wondering how much in total this ad account did and this specific general store did, we spent about $265,000 since the beginning of 2020 to generate over $1.3 million. So that's an amazing return on ad spend. And if you want to watch a case study on this, I already made a video on that. I'll leave the link in the description below. But we're again looking at why this is happening and why this happens over a period of time. So a lot of people get overly excited when things start to go up like this. They think Google Ads is working, and it doesn't really matter what advertising platform you use. They think that that is the best advertising platform in the world and nothing can bring them down. That is exactly what happens during this curve upwards. However, you reach a peak at some point because nothing can keep on going up, nothing can keep on going down. And after that peak is when things start to turn around. For me, it was in March of 2020. I had one main winning product related to the events going on in the world during that time period, which is why I had such crazy results. But once more competitors started to get in the market, once more people started to copy my product, that's when things started to go down. And as you guys can see, every single month after that time period, it did start to go down. However, these specific periods right here of time, of months, are usually the slowest months in my own experience, not with just this store, with other stores as well. So usually June, July, and August is the time period when more people are outdoors, they're traveling, they don't really have time to spend on their computers, laptops, shopping. And this often leads to a lot of people just not buying things online. This does not mean that online buying is dead. Historically, however, with my own general store and even my niche store, I've noticed that these time periods are often the slowest. And we can see the same thing happening in June, July, and August of 2020. In July, the ROAS was about 3.63, so not the best compared to where I was previously at 13. So that was a really big drop. In August, it was even lower than July, so 3.30. So that doesn't mean that I did anything different. That doesn't mean I started adding less products. I was still doing the same strategies I always teach you guys. However, just because of the seasonality of the time period of the year, this is what was going on during that time period. But once August started to come to an end, that is when things really picked up. And in September, we saw a 4.97 ROAS. And in October, we saw a 6.21. And November, it was around 4.36 because it was during the time period I was really scaling this campaign. As you guys can see, it did kind of return back to normal during these time periods. And then it went back down in January until going back up in February, March, and April of this year. So what I want to tell you guys from these statistics and overall what people are facing is it is absolutely normal to have really a lot of ups and downs in e-commerce and in dropshipping. As you guys can see, the ups can be really tremendous ups, the downs can be really low downs, and especially right now with what's going on and more people starting to go outside, there are just some things which are out of your hand. So if you are doing all of the right things, if you're consistently adding new products every single day, if you're optimizing your campaigns every 7 to 14 days like I tell you guys to, and you're still seeing that your sales are not where you want them to be, you're not really profitable, all you have to do is give it time to get back to normal. That is one of the main solutions I've found time and time again after running Shopify stores for such a long time. You can do a lot of things such as stop the campaigns, restart them, add smart shopping, optimize them even more, but all that is going to do is even increase the acceleration of this decrease in the curve. And with Google Ads, that can actually be the reason for your downfall, simply because with Google, it is a patient-based platform, it is a time-based platform. You cannot be making decisions too quickly because all that's going to happen is your ROAS is going to start tanking very, very quickly. So instead, what you want to do is just give it time. That is exactly what I did during the months of June, July, and August. It was not a pleasant feeling seeing the ROAS dip over time. However, there was nothing else that I could personally do, and because I already knew that if I tried to do a little bit too much, that could end up ruining the campaign overall, I just decided to stay back and just let the campaign perform. I changed my optimization time frame from 7 days to 14, and I just let things run in the background, because a lot of the times what you will see is that just letting things run, not really playing around too much with them, and just letting them do its thing can work to your advantage when it comes to Google. And that is exactly what happened after June, July, and August, because August again was the lowest time period for me with the lowest amount of profits. But after that, without even changing anything, by just consistently adding new products every single day, it changed literally within a matter of a few days. So this just lets you know that seasonality with Google Ads specifically has a very big role. Of course, even with any other advertising platforms, you cannot expect to sell a portable air conditioner during the months of December and January, because those are the coldest months. So seasonality is going to be an important factor regardless of what advertising platform you use. But with Google, it is just a little bit extra, simply because if you're running a general store, you're gonna have a lot of products within different collections, categories. Some may be seasonal, some may be consistent. Because of that, it's just going to fluctuate tremendously. However, if you continue following all of the tutorials that I have on YouTube regarding Google, if you consistently add new products within a wide variety of different collections, then you will see that overall it does still stay consistent, instead of just going up really quickly and then down all the way to zero, because that is what a lot of Facebook advertisers face, where they have an amazing month where they do $500,000 in sales in a single month, but then the next month it is $5,000, and the next one it's $0 in sales. And that is simply because they rely on one product too much. So with Google, you have the ability to advertise multiple different products inside of one general testing campaign without going crazy handling all of the different campaigns. So that is exactly what you should be doing. Don't worry too much about the downs, because over time, if you just let it run, let it optimize, it is going to go up over time. And as you guys can see, over time, the campaign spend did start to increase, and with the increase, the ROAS did slightly dip, but overall in a lot of the months it was very consistent. Like for example, in the months of April and May, I was able to achieve a 5.0 and above ROAS. So that is absolutely amazing. That is only with Google Ads. So this is a platform which requires time and patience. So just keep at it and let it run in the background without making too many optimizations. But if you're wanting some more help regarding Google Ads specifically, you're needing maybe one-on-one mentoring, I do currently take on students every single month to do one-on-one Google Ads mentoring. Let me know down in the comment sections if that is something that interests you, or you can send me a message on Instagram at DedicatedYoung. But if you find any type of value in this video, destroy that like button and destroy that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.